Good evening, children. Today our topic is isolation. Here, what is the isolation? Definition is prevention of gene flow, interflow is known as the isolation. Types of isolation. Here, Darwin-Jansky scientists classified isolation into two types. Number one is geographical isolation. Number two is reproductive isolation. Come to the first one, geographical isolation. In this type of isolation, the organisms are separated by geographical barriers such as large mountains, water bodies on the earth, seas, etc., which causes the formation of the new species. This type of isolation is known as a geographical isolation. There are two types of geographical isolations are there. Number one is a spatial isolation. Between the two spaces, a great space or range of place occupies. This prevents the gene interflow between the two species. That's why a new species arises from the ancestor species. And next one is a biotic isolation. Again, between the two species, different mode of feeding habitats are present. That's why here a new species arises. Here example, apple fly. Here in this, some of the flies attacks or feeds on the apples and other fly feeds on the blueberries. So because of this mode of feeding, the flow of the genes are interrupted. Next one is the second one is a reproductive isolation. In this type of isolation, the organisms are separated by reproductive methods which prevent interbreeding or reproduction, which lead to the formation of the new species. Here there are two types of mechanisms present in the reproductive isolation. Number one is a pre-mating isolation. Definition: the isolation occurs before mating of organisms is known as the pre-mating isolation. This stops the interbreeding or reproduction between the two species. Here there are four types are present in the pre-mating isolation. Number one is a seasonal isolation. The species breed or reproduce in the different seasons, so that's why which prevent the interbreeding or reproduction between the two species. Say example in a Rana salvatica and a Rana calmaticus. Both frogs are live in the same farm, but Rana salvatica breed before other frogs appear in fawn. And next one are Rana calmatis do not breed until other frogs reproduces they finish. And next one is the ecological isolation. Species breed or mate in their selected places. Because of this region, the interbreed does not take place in the species. And next one is the behavioral isolation. Some species select the mates, that means opposite sex of their own species, because of the presence of the brilliant color and voice. So that's why the females or males select the opposite sex. So this prevents the interbreeding between the two species. And the next one come to the post-mating isolation. Definition: the isolation occurs after the mating of organisms is known as post-mating isolation. Here there are five types are present in the post-mating isolation. Number one is a gametic mortality. In this type, what happens? The sperms are transferred but the egg is not fertilized. Second one is a zygotic mortality. In this type, egg may be fertilized but the zygote is not developed. And next one, hybrid inviability. In this type, hybrid embryo develops but they reduce viability. And next one, hybrid sterility. In this type, the hybrid is viable but the adults are sterile. But adults are not, they cannot reproduce. Next, last one is hybrid breakdown. In this step, the hybrids are fertile but they give rise abnormal sterile offsprings. This is the important points are present in the isolation. Questions comes from the 50 marks. Thank you.